And out to everybody, and welcome. It is the Real Estate Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. It is another weekend, and that means Chris is here. Chris, I had the opportunity to see your wonderful crew in action, Annette, and also Jerry at your open house last weekend. I must say that was incredible at Two Rivers. Unbelievable.
Yeah, John Flaherty, he builds a great house. He actually, that house, the way it turned out, is so much different, and I keep encouraging people to go by and take a look at it. And it's open off and on throughout the week in the afternoon and on the weekends. But you should come by and check it out. Just the finishes are so different. I'm sure you could attest to that. It's probably a lot different than most of the stuff you see out there.
Well, I don't know about the house. I was just talking about Annette and Jerry. It was maybe one of the nicest homes that I've seen. I'm talking about when you go that you could look at and say, hey, this is something that somebody could purchase, all the elements, all the ins and outs. And I think what was most impressive, though, for me, I don't know if staging's the right word, but Chris, it gave me an opportunity to see how you put a home, if you're going to sell somebody's home, from greeting with Annette,
right.
How Jerry looked at some things. If you want somebody to go with you through the home, absolutely. If not, answer questions. Wasn't a lot of in your face. That's what I really liked.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. And, we did. It's amazing if you could see what it looked like before we had the staging come in, and that's kind of what we do as a group too. And we talk about first class service. We talk about how professional the company is in general. But what we're doing, on top of everything else, we've tried to just build quality and do it, from professional photography to helping you stage your home, and everything and all the vendors we surround ourselves with.
Oh, folks, I must tell you, if you have not seen this home in Two Rivers, reach out to Chris and his team and get a tour of it, because it is amazing. It's chrislofthus.com, CHRISLOFTHUS.com. Chris, are you able to judge from that fall parade of homes that there's more traffic than usual? I know you had a lot of traffic at that home, but how would you assess the fall parade of homes?
Yeah, it was busy. It was really busy, as a matter of fact. And I've talked to other realtors who had homes in the fall parade, and I've also talked to some homeowners who had their houses for sale and open that weren't actually in the fall parade, and how much traffic they got in their open houses. I mean, I think we had 450 people through, maybe more. We had a ton of great feedback. We had a questionnaire on there, and we had a great feedback on that house. And overall, I think the attitude and per the economy in general and the real estate market in Ada County and Canyon County is coming back. We talked about that a little bit too. Is just, you can just feel the difference in people.
I was amazed at some of the homes that I went through. They were already sold. They said, a couple of people went through and purchased it. So I guess I looked at that as a good sign, because these weren't $100,000 homes we were looking at, and they were sold already.
Right. Well, we talk about the increase in price, and it being up, so much from last year. Just the average sales price, especially in Ada County. And you look at the volume, just the sheer volume of transactions that are up, and the prices are up. So I mean, it's a good thing. And all these different price ranges, 200,000, 300,000, are putting upward pressure on the the higher end homes as well.
So what are you seeing in terms of I guess we'll call it the median list price? Let's start in right in your wheelhouse in Ada County as you look through Meridian, Eagle, Boise.
Yeah, the funny part about these numbers are, we always talk about inventory numbers, and they've hovered around 2,200 for, I don't know, 9-10 months, something like that, which is really, really rare. Typically we see it ramp up pretty high, in the 3,000, 4,000 range in a decent market. When it's, we were in a rough market, really high 6,000 homes. We've stayed around 2,200 homes, and the median list price is way up in Ada County. It's around $200,000. As opposed to, you look at Canyon County, there's 1,000 active listings, and the median price is up there too, it's $130,000. So we're seeing a lot of movement, not just in volume, but in sales volume in general.
So is that a surprisingly low number in Canyon County, or how do you assess that?
Well, Dave, over the last 4 or 5 years, there's no telling really anything anymore. I mean, you talk about 2,200 homes in Ada County, and there was over 6,000 homes in 2005.
Right.
You obviously saw what happened there, and there's just so many houses on the market. Same thing happened out in Canyon County. Canyon County got hurt, but we're seeing some really, really good recovery, which is just a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I think you said it's up, 20% overall volume?
Yep.
So, Chris, obviously everybody's watching the election, what's going on with it, seeing different elements, a lot of different stories coming out. And the latest story is the 3.8%, we'll call it the Medicare tax on home sales. So in the absence of facts, we tend to fill in the blanks. When we don't know, we fill in the blanks, and our natural reaction is, well, 7%. Now this means with this 3.8, I'm going to add on to this, and what's kind of, well, it's not kind of good. It's great that as a sales professional and what you do. No, here's the facts from Chris Lofthus.
Yeah, and the thing is, I could tell everybody too, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA. If you really want to talk to your accountant about this and how it's going to affect you, which, what it basically is a 3.8% Medicare tax that takes place as of January 1. And the rumor out there and all the emails going around are basically stating that it's based on the sale of your house, which people would think if I sold my house for $200,000, not only do I have my normal fees, but tack another 3.8% on there as well, which just, it's not the case. The National Association of Realtors has gotten involved here, and they're trying to, I guess, the spin doctor portion of it that's getting out of control. They've done a really good job at controlling it. And what it really is only going to affect about 2 to 3% of the sales. And the tax itself was created to bring investment income into Social Security and Medicare trust funds. But the truth is, when it comes out to, and we're going to post this on our website and our Facebook page as well. I think Annette already did, so you can go check it out. But it's based on gain. So, if you just talk about, $250,000 for an individual or $500,000 when you talk about capital gains, that's what it's based on. And as you know, there's probably not a whole lot of houses out there right now that are sitting there with $250,000 or $500,000 gains. So, go watch the video. The video's on there. The National Association of Realtors, I believe their financial advisor is on there as well discussing it. But it really, truly, when it comes down to it, it's really going to only affect about 2 to 3% of the home sales.
Well, and the intriguing thing about this is the last thing home sales needs is an element like this. So it's important that you go to the website and get these facts because, as we said, a lot of people are going to tell you stuff that isn't true.
Well, yeah, and part of it, too, as well, is based on income. So it's based on household income. So I believe, I can't tell you exactly, but I believe when I watched the video, they discussed that on top of the gain that you'd have to receive to get taxed anyway, you'd also have to, as an individual, be making over $200,000 a year. And as as a joint couple filing, you'd have to be making $250,000 over a year in general as a household. And as we know, we're in Boise, Idaho, and you look at that in general, and there's not a whole lot of people in that category.
Well, not just in Boise, Idaho, all the United States, putting that stuff together.
Right.
So, well, Chris, that's what makes this show so impressive. When I hear folks, they say, I never hear Chris selling houses on the show. I never hear him saying, hey, buy this or list this. He's always giving us great information. And I think, well, I don't think I know that that's your goal of this show, is that people can learn and know exactly what's going on out there.
Yeah, and that's why we do the show. We like to give good information, positive information about what's going on in and around Boise, Canyon County. And we talk about, just bringing vendors on, like we have Randy Funk is on here today. He's a home inspector. He's going to discuss a little bit. Him and I will kind of go back and forth and discuss the advantages. And one of the things that I want to talk to Randy about, and we discuss, is I think it's so important now. If you're going to put your house on the market, I really feel that it's a really good opportunity to maybe get a pre-inspection done on your house. So get the inspection before the buyers are going to get their inspection, and maybe you can alleviate some of the heartache when someone comes in and says, hey, you know what, there's some water in the crawl space or whatever, and you can remediate it before you put your house on the market. Yeah,
I think that's such a great piece, and I don't know. I don't think Randy will be our first home inspector to come on, because I know a lot of Burton Freeze has always said, get that inspection done before. Now, it's different, you and I walking through versus a home inspector, because he's the one that's certified that says, yeah, I know you don't think it needs to be fixed, but for this to go through a sale, that's got to be fixed.
Well, you're exactly right. We talked about Burton, and Randy's is friends and colleagues with Burton as well. And we talked about when I had Burton over at my house, and I saw some, you talk about, we had some tile issues at our house, and Burton was like, jump on it now. If you get on the problem now and fix it now, it's going to alleviate huge headaches later.
All right, so Randy will join us. We'll take a time out, and I would advise you to get the yellow pad and your pencil to take some notes here. Randy's got over 12 years of experience. What I noticed about it was you get this in 24 hours. It's not, hey, that home inspector came by a month ago. Have you heard anything from him? He turns these around fast. But the most important part, you're going to get some good advice here. As always, on the Real Estate Show, featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty, Boise. Back with more right after this.